So this B2B SaaS homepage in the GovTech space wasn't broken, but it was leaking some conversions. 5 CTAs and the strongest selling point buried below the fold. Dustin's product actually serves a real problem that's really painful and also legally required for municipal clerks. But the site made it sound like just about any other AI tool. We dug into what ClerkMinutes does different, rewired the hero section, and showed how to turn objections into conversions. Let's get into it.
Hi, I am Dustin, and I am in the very boring business of selling software to government. Very boring industry, but I try to liven it up and make it fun and interesting. A couple of the companies that we have is selling municipal website design and hosting to local governments in the United States, digital solutions like forms, payments, and reservations, and now AI software for municipal clerks.
I love it. One of the things that I've always been really impressed by about you, Dustin, is the fact that you kind of stayed in the same audience. So like, even though you have multiple products and multiple services, it all kind of really melts. It looks on the outside, looks like it really melts together. So you you have a ClerkMinutes and HeyGov, and then also with kind of services all seem to be intertwined. Can you maybe explain a little bit about why you kind of separated out the ClerkMinutes brand, which I know is what we're going to dive into today, from HeyGov, your actual main software?
Yeah, I think the main reason why I separated it and had a separate brand is because we found a unique use case, because we were building digital solutions for government, and then ChatGPT came out. And my programmer and I were sitting down one weekend, like, what can we build with ChatGPT? And the idea was to help automate how governments do meeting minutes. And I know there's a lot of software that helps with transcriptions and speaker identifications and things like that. But I specifically wanted to do it because I kind of know our municipal audience very well. And I thought, let's just have a descriptive name. So I went online, bought clerkminutes.com, and we had a few early adopters try to play with it and get some value out of it. And we just kept building and iterating it. But the main reason for doing it is because it doesn't have to be part of a main brand, but I kind of look at inspiration from Microsoft Office. It wasn't originally Microsoft Office. It was Word, it was Excel, it was PowerPoint, and it kind of was bundled together as Office. I'm trying to build like an Office suite of tools for municipalities. And so this is like, one of the pieces of software that people might buy independently, but hopefully, intent, if municipalities are listening to this, that they might want to get this one and the online payments and the forms and the websites and everything else.
Yeah, so you're basically wanting to create the operating system for municipalities and city governments.
Yeah, but I don't want my competitors to know about this. No, everybody's trying to do it. It's just it's the natural evolution. It's more than just a website. It's a communication platform. It's a way for citizens to put in inquiries, for the people in the municipality to centralize everything and communicate outward as like one voice. Some people just some municipalities only rely on Facebook or only as an email list, or maybe they have constant contacts or a MailChimp list. We're trying to like have all these solutions together in an all-in-one platform, almost like a HubSpot, but for local government.
I love it. And for someone, and I just realized we just completely glazed over this. For someone listening to this for the very first time, what does ClerkMinutes actually do?
ClerkMinutes is basically AI-powered municipal meetings. So every local government has to have an agenda. They legally have to post it like 24 hours before the meeting actually takes place. And then when that meeting does take place, before the next meeting takes place, they have to have their minutes prepared. And then usually that second meeting, the minutes is like a recap of what was discussed. So there has to be transparency in local government. So people in big cities, small towns, even rural towns, it's a legal requirement. They have to know what's being discussed. And the agendas and the minutes are what brings everything together. And that's the official record. So the ClerkMinutes is a way to speed up the process, because some of these meetings can be 8 hours long. Many are just a half an hour, 1 hour long, but it can take multiple times of that time to put together the actual minutes. And our software just, utilizes the best of ChatGPT and transcription software to kind of bring everything together and make their job so a lot more efficient and easier.
Yeah, so you're playing in the most indie position where there's actually a regulation requirement where you actually have to do this, and your software is like, hey, you have to do this anyway. I can help you do this way, way, way faster. So you basically have the dream of the demands are automatically
Yes.
baked in, and it's now just about convincing people, hey, this is actually going to save them a ton of time. So
Yes.
with your actual audience of these clerks across all of these city governments and rural towns and everything like that, when they're using ClerkMinutes, what is the number one thing they say about it? And also, what is the number one pain point it solves?
We get chat requests or inbox messages from people who are on the trial. And some of them have said, like, I've never used drugs before, but I think this is what crack is like. It's like, this is so good. I just want to keep using it. It really saves so much time. I mean, just think about it. If you were a struggling copywriter or you weren't very good and you had to write copy, and then you were given access to ChatGPT or Sonnet or some other LLM, and you could just put in a few prompts and it gave you something that was like 80% done. Like, oh my gosh, all the hard work is done. A lot of the people who are using this software have already heard about ChatGPT, are already using it, and they probably considered, can I use this for my meeting minutes? We just bring everything together. So they find that it's a huge time saver, absolutely huge time saver. And we're not charging a lot. It's like definitely worth their time to pay more than $100 to have this, to use it for all their meetings. Their big pain problem is some people. So to back up a little bit, things have changed in the government, let's say, since COVID. And there have been a lot of legacy people who worked in local government who retired because of all the requirements due to COVID. You have to have, all this meeting law. You have to do it online. I'm used to doing everything from the typewriter and Xerox machine, and I have to do everything with the computer and put it online and have these requirements. Used to be people would post in local newspapers. Local newspapers have gone away, so they have all these meeting requirements that they have to do and ADA requirements. It's the job of a clerk is now much harder and more difficult to do in 2025 than it was in 2019, let's say. So we're seeing a lot of the older folks retire out, younger people come on and like, hey, I want to be a municipal clerk. This is what they do. Some go through it professionally. And so many people who use our software do not like to create meeting minutes, because you have to think about, you have to write down all the details. Who did this? Who said this? What was the decision made? And really, it's an ideal product for people who hate doing meeting minutes.
Awesome. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull up your homepage.
Sure.
Okay, so the first thing that I am seeing, and can I be a little blunt?
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing I am seeing basically 5 CTAs, or all of them with slightly different wording. You have your commercial, which is hilarious, by the way. Highly recommend other people who are on this website check out the commercial. Well done. Start your free trial now with the little animation, because I was on there a little bit earlier. Book a demo, then you have a little bit more notes around all of the stuff around no credit cards. And then you also have another one that I kind of happened to see in a banner when I was on the site, where it was like booking a discovery call. No problem whatsoever with 2 different CTAs. If you want to try to get people onto a free trial and also to book a demo, that can make a ton of sense. Where I think you might be shooting yourself a little bit in the foot is the fact that you have a book a demo link that is basically using 2 different languages, one in your banner, one without, one on the main hero section. Choose one, not both. Or tell me, just in your own words, what is the desired goal? Do you want people just to immediately start a free trial and immediately see the value, or do you need to actually convince them a little bit more with a demo because they're not tech savvy?
Yeah, I would say the reason why I have this one on the bottom is because I saw something similar on another product website in a different industry that was doing like one-to-many sales. So we feel like we can offer an awesome experience for an organization, a clerk organization like Municipal Clerks Association of Wisconsin, of Illinois, whatever, to say, hey, we have so many people using your software, we'd like to bulk order or have like a, what's it called, like a group buy thing. We haven't had anybody actually really actively say, hey, I'm interested in doing this. But I thought, hey, why not have that as part of it? So I had it so you can click off, like when they click off, it's no longer showing. But you're right. The main call to action is start a free trial. So many people are just starting it. They jump right into it. They get the full version of the software and they don't need a credit card.
Yeah. So no credit card is huge, obviously. Free trial. How many people are actually booking a demo?
I'm not going to say that just
Yeah.
because there's a competitive intelligence
Totally. No, I
going
mean,
on.
not necessarily, totally valid. I mean, of the people who are signing up for a free trial versus a demo, is it mostly skewed towards the free trial?
Yes, that's correct. Most
Okay.
people will come in, start a free trial, and most people will actually use the product too.
Got it. In that case, would it make the absolute most sense to just go to one CTA, have it be jamming on your free trial, making, and then this is my next point on this, making your H1 a little bit punchier because you know that these people are instantly hooked once they try it out. And then just use your CRM or, you know, even a virtual assistant or a marketing manager to go in. And if you notice that there's suddenly 5 people from the same city all using your software, then you can go in and be like, hey, I can give you this kind of group deal. But if nobody's doing that automatically, why dilute your CTAs?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the reason why actually the reason when we first started a year and a half or so ago, it was we wanted people to have a meeting with us to get to know and learn and understand how things worked out. And it was more of a manual process. They could try it out, but they didn't have access. We saw that people were trying it out. It was like upload your agenda, upload your meeting recording, and then you can see how it's going to work. Our software is a little bit more complex than just like 1-2 steps where it can do it great just from that early iteration. But we saw that enough people were doing that and we had to manually activate their account. So it is better now that they have the click to start free trial. But I think in the beginning, we wanted to have these demos. But you're right. We do have demos all the time that we're giving, but people don't really need it.
Yeah. If they don't need it, then try it for 90 days. And my hunch is from what you just shared right now, you're going to see conversions go way up because right now you're giving people too many options. And if you give them too many options, they're just going to do nothing at all.
Do you consider that I was going to say, do you consider that this is kind of a call to action because it has the big play button that everybody knows?
It is, but in this scenario, I think it actually works because it kind of tells you exactly what your software does. It adds humor, which is, I'm going to just take a wild guess here, very much underutilized in government software.
Yes, that's why we did it.
You sound very different. You already sound different. You sound like a person, like not just another stuffy brand. So I think that video works well there. I would just challenge you to just keep it to 2 CTAs particularly if you know that most people are going into a free trial and they're automatically converting. And then, because you also have the other thing in your arsenal of you can be able to see who's actually converting. If they're not converting enough, you can also just update your onboarding within your product so that, you can reach out, an hour later or 2 hours later and be like, hey, I noticed you might be struggling. Offering a demo that way is just another way to even de-risk it further.
Yep. One question I want to ask is, do you consider this login button up here also as a call to action? Because it's a button, it's like the same height and color as the other one, the secondary one.
Yeah, I consider everything in your navigation menu within here to be a call to action. Login standard. You might even, if you really wanted to optimize this, put your start a free trial also next to your login button. So you have basically the same exact CTA text on both places so that somebody is on any single page instantly knows that they can start a free trial as well as, log in at the same place. But yeah, that would be what I would recommend. You don't fall into the other trap that I see all of the time, which is the monster long list for a navigation menu. that can work well if you have like a product tour and you're putting all of your features in a very well designed, well thought out UX. But the fact that you just have pricing, you have features, blog, and login, kudos. Maybe actually, yeah, that all makes a ton of sense. One thing I would challenge you on is you already said yourself, a lot of your ICP isn't tech savvy. I know the massive trend, and I've done now enough of these, I have to work with enough clients and also done enough of these videos to know that pretty much everyone says AI powered. Does your audience give a crap about it being AI powered, or is it just that you finish your minutes in minutes and you save time? So is AI powered meeting minutes actually just, for lack of a better word vomit?
I would say that people who are interested in our software want to use something like ChatGPT. They know how it can summarize or help with writing. And I did specifically want to say it's AI powered because this truly is AI powered. It's not just one AI. We use all of them in different ways. I mean, it's not just like, oh, here's this little widget that kind of helps you with something. It's the central processing of what the product does. And I think people are looking for, so this category of product is called an AMMS, an agenda meeting minutes solution or agenda meeting management solution. So we believe we are the only local government AMMS solution that is AI powered. And it's truly for doing, the thing that people don't like to do. I want to have it AI powered in the beginning because the other solutions don't offer it. And I'm curious on your input. I did have somebody a while back says, oh, you should get ClerkMinutes.ai. People want to use AI. And I thought, I did buy the domain. I think I did, but I didn't make it the primary domain. It's the .com version.
Can I be blunt?
Yeah.
I don't think if you're relying on just being AI powered, that's not really that is not a competitive differentiator whatsoever. Like right now, it might feel like that, and it still is right now. But I would maybe say your cleanest line in your H1 is already in your H1, but it's the last sentence of it, which is finish your minutes in minutes. I know from talking to you offline, that's kind of your trademark. I would say lean in heavily into that as your H1, and then change your subhead to be something about AI powered, if that's something that is really unique, and it sounds like it is for your industry, but just lean into way more about the fact that, like, hey, your audience, from what it sounds like to me, isn't tech savvy. They just want it done fast and they want it to feel frictionless. Yeah, put in the how of that being in it's AI powered and that it's like your differentiator, but really lean into that pain point first.
I would say that our clerks now, post-COVID, are more are more tech savvy because they're a younger crowd. There are people who, I'll tell you, like 18 years when I started, people were coming from typewriters to computers. We have flip phones. And, everybody has an iPhone or Android phone, so they kind of get it. Like this is kind of the thing that they know how to do. The reason why I have meeting minutes and municipal clerks in the H1 is so that we show up because I don't want to be confused with another software that's not related to the government industry. I want people to feel like, oh, it's municipal. Oh, it's for clerks. It's using AI. It's like those three things.
Yeah. Could you maybe say, and this might be, I won't get into wordsmithing this directly on this video, but I'm happy to do that offline. Say something along the lines of just finish your minutes in minutes for municipal clerks. That's a little bit of a mouthful.
Okay.
That kind of does it right there. And then here's the dirty secret. You just have the AI stuff in the subhead because then at that point, you're just explaining this is what ClerkMinutes is. You have all of the AI stuff, but now you're kind of leaning directly with the actual pain you solve, which is, hey, this is a regulated requirement that everybody needs. Nobody wants to do it. And ClerkMinutes does this faster, so you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, that's something to consider.
Yeah. What would you, what else would you be, pushing back on?
Feedback, like what I would do. that you recommend or what I wouldn't do?
I mean, you sounded a little bit hesitant there. So like kind of where's the hesitancy coming in?
I feel like finish your minutes in minutes is a good tagline to use.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the main H1 tagline. I recently added it like 2 weeks ago, so I'm okay having it right now, added as part of the H1. Honestly, I don't really know how many leads we get through the website versus like, let's say, word of mouth.
Mhm.
I've never really been super strong in like the SEO type of stuff, but I don't know. I'm not the marketing expert either.
Didn't so aren't you kind of just proving your own point there, which is it doesn't even matter if you have municipal clerks within your H1? Because if you're not, if it is really ultimately this page is to kind of get people to make sure that they understand if this is for them and it's not necessarily an SEO play.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. So if you want to scroll down,
sure.
I love the social proof that you have in a unique way where it is the number of municipalities you serve, the number of minutes transcribed. That's really cool. And a cool way to kind of showcase that in. I like the fact that you have a testimonial there. And the testimonial makes a ton of sense. You might, and I'm going to just take the assumption now because you're getting a lot of really cool feedback, maybe turn that into a rule, basically 3 testimonials, just so that, kind of have that rule of 3 and social proof right there. But that is literally me nitpicking and just saying, hey, taking something that's already strong and making it even stronger.
Yes. So I think if you scroll down, we have other testimonials
Mhm.
throughout here. So we do have the 3, but they're not all at once.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, that also works just as well. My next question I have for you is what is up with the illustration on each of these, with each one of these? Like, is there a reason behind the illustration versus going with kind of showcasing more of what the actual product does?
It was based on the designer we hired. We had advanced quite a bit in what the software does. We were getting some traction on it, and we needed a rebrand because what we did a year and a half ago was quick and dirty. And it was good enough, but I felt that there were people who looked at the old brand and the website and they felt, it doesn't seem trustworthy. So I needed to get this new logo out there, the new color, the design, and get it out there. And I don't know if we really cut corners or anything, but it was like, we just need something there. It was like a project, like, let's get it out there. I will say that since getting the product out there with the new website, business has grown quite a bit. We find that there's a higher engagement, so much so that we reduced the trial from 4 weeks, from 1 month to 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
to get faster conversions. Um, our priority wasn't really to focus on the design, but am I hearing that you don't like the design, or you
No,
would prefer
I
to
like
have
the
like
design.
product? Okay.
I like the design, but I'm also wondering, and I like the design. I like the fact that you were able to get more conversions and shorten it from 30 days to 14 days. Kudos. I have a couple of follow-on questions I will ask about that. I like the design. My question to you is, I'm not seeing much about how the product actually works outside of the
Hmm.
commercial. So like the design
Yeah.
looks amazing. Is there another place where you can also just make sure that people can actually see like an animated GIF or some sort of screenshots that are like custom designed of the actual product so they can kind of envision it? And that I'm going to assume would take your conversion rate that's already massively improved with this new version to the next level because they
Yeah.
can now instantly see what this looks like. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
if you don't mind scrolling up just a little bit, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You really love the word AI powered. You and like 12 other founders who I've talked to. Why?
Because that's kind of how it works. What would you recommend instead of AI powered? Like using the latest LLMs? Maybe that's too
I would
technical.
use, and this is the dirty secret of copywriting, the words that your customers are actually using when they're explaining your product. When they're using your product, take the language and then just massage it. I'm willing to bet a lot that your customers are not saying the word AI powered, but you are, because you are a tech savvy, product centered founder.
Okay. What is your thought about something like this? Because we do have some marketing that goes out, onesie twosie to people that says it's like ChatGPT for municipal clerks. Because I'm like, you already know what ChatGPT is, but this is for you.
I would want to see the demo recordings of how your customers are actually interacting on demos, and
Okay.
also how they are using the product and how they are describing it at trade shows, at events, when they're at meetings with other clerks. My hunch is ChatGPT for minutes is like what people used to say in 2010 to 2020, whereas it's like Uber for X. It can work as a nice crutch, but I'm thinking there's probably a stronger way that you can explain it.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I would just say to challenge you, and I'm like, you have all the demo calls, you talk to these people, you've been in the industry for like 2 decades, you probably know it better than anyone else. Parrot that language back to them on this page. So if they're saying ChatGPT for minutes, use it. My hunch is there might be a better way to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to scroll down.
Yep.
Yeah. But most of this copy is fine. I can definitely fine tune things, but this all works. I would just say maybe challenge you again, AI powered, to think about something else there, and then also to add in some sort of screenshot, interactive demo, something that kind of lets people see exactly what ClerkMinutes is, because the illustrations are great, but it doesn't really tell you exactly what it does. I like that you have integrates of YouTube, Zoom, Vimeo, and SoundCloud. I'm guessing those are kind of the core technologies that your audience is already using, so kudos.
Yep.
How ClerkMinutes works. Okay, upload your agenda, upload the meeting recording, assign speakers to the dialogue, generate minutes, and customize. That's great. Move that up higher on the page.
Sure.
Like, that looks amazing. Like, just move it higher up on the page. That will instantly convert.
Oh, put it in that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's scroll up.
Yeah. Move that higher up on the page and then go down to frequently asked questions. What? Okay. Why these questions?
I think, let me read through them again. It's been a while.
How does ClerkMinutes work? Do I need to pay for ClerkMinutes? How can I make my minutes even better? How do I check my trial? Why do you need both my agenda and recording? What recording equipment do I need? How do I choose a plan and start my subscription?
Yeah, I wanted to make it very basic from the bare bones, because you're like, okay, it's magic, it's AI powered, whatever. You don't like that words, but how does it actually work? I wanted to be very clear. Like, look, you have to do this, you have to do this. Yes, it's free to use. You don't, you put your credit card. You don't have to put your credit card. You're not charged. We built some features that make it better than just raw ChatGPT, where you can. That's why we have one that says, how do I make my minutes even better? And we wanted to talk about this. And, hey, if you want something customized, you don't have to rerun it again. You just select the area that you want to reprompt, and it'll do it for you.
Yeah, I think your instincts are pretty spot on. My thing that I think can make this even better is, what are the actual objections or the actual reasons clerks don't use your software or delay it?
And talk about that instead of, because I was looking at this as more as educational versus objection handling.
Bingo.
Okay. Taking notes.
The best FAQs for a homepage are the objection handling. Keep the ones where it is what your instincts are right, which is how does ClerkMinutes work, and the things about how the free trial works. That's all standard. but the absolute best FAQs and what converts in my experience across a lot of different pages, both that I've written and ones that I have seen the inside of, is using it as objection handling. So my question to you is, what are the top 3 objections that clerks have where they either delay or just don't use you at all?
Mhm. You want those off the top of my head?
Yeah, maybe
Uh,
if you have them, great. If you don't, that's fine too.
I would think that maybe some of the objections is like, well, how much time is this really going to take me? Um, maybe because we're selling to government, they're like, is this one of those things where it's like over promising and under delivering? Like, is it just fake marketing material? Because I think that happens to a lot of places where they get pulled in and like, oh, it doesn't do anything.
Mhm.
Maybe another objection would be, is it going to disrupt my actual workflow? Because they have their certain way to do things. And I think there's a resistance to change. I would think that the beauty of our product is they're already doing their agenda, they're already doing their meeting recording. You're just uploading, logging in and then uploading those 2 files that you already have, and then you see the magic.
Yeah, bingo. Wordsmith that a little bit, but take those 3 objections and put those into your FAQ. And
Okay.
maybe even infuse some of those objections even more into the copy throughout this entire page. And then you will instantly be able to see that, hey, you still have all the word of mouth traffic and the referrals, which are freaking amazing. But now your page is also just going to convert at a much higher rate because you're already thinking exactly how they think and you're already addressing every problem they have.
Okay. I can't believe this is a free call.
I love it.